All right.
Yeah.
We here. I'm not going to act a fool.
Why not?
Welcome to Stay Winning. No, that's not me.
You gotta turn it up.
This is me turned up. Welcome to
On
Stay
it.
Winning. We back in the building. We here. I'm Curtis. That's Talib, the
Yes, I
co-host
am.
for today's show.
Yep.
Yeah, like and subscribe, hit the bell, all of that stuff. But I want to get right into it.
Let's do it, baby. What we got?
Yeah, man. Fight last night that nobody watched.
Didn't nobody care.
For the welterweight, the former number one welterweight, I believe.
Yeah.
Cheef Thurman.
Yeah.
Against some good guy in Australia.
So, it's good to see Cheef Thurman back in the ring. So I'll say that, right? And last night, he looked like his nickname. He looked like one time last night. Boy.
You think so?
Boy, he knocked the snot out of that dude last night, yo.
That dude didn't move. He stood there and let Cheef load up.
He was like, you got something in your nose. Whack him. Snot.
Not anymore.
Sleep immediately, yo. Oh my.
He had sleep in his nose.
Thank you. I was a little congested. Yo, he knocked him out, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's good to see him back in the ring. You know what I mean? Yep. And it's gonna take him a little while to what I believe to get back up to that speed to deal with that type of competition. But at least he's beginning to be back active from having so many health issues. So that's a good sign,
Do you think he wants to get back to that level at this point, at this stage in his career?
So that's a great question. I'm gonna say no, right? I'm gonna say no. But I will tell you this: if the money is right for us to get the fight that he was talking so much about, that might lure him into wanting to compete at a high level again.
Which
that fight was Errol Spence. Remember when Errol Spence was the unified champion, he was the one who had the belt, and he kept talking about undisputed. Then he got hurt, or it was some type of situation with him where he was inactive. Earl kind of had to move on. So they kind of started that chatter up just a little bit because once again, Earl has been inactive since the Crawford fight, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where Mike Tyson never fought Lennox Lewis in his prime, but everybody still wanted to see Tyson fight Lewis. So it happened later in both of their careers, and people still showed up for that fight. You get what I'm saying? So, I don't know,
I do,
but it would be good to see that.
Cheef Thurman he's not Mike Tyson. But I will say this. I think if he fought Errol Spence right now, I probably would have Cheef Thurman favored. I'm gonna be honest. And the reason is because Errol Spence took a whooping. And I think when you get beat like that, it just takes so much out of you. Like there's so much self-doubt that kind of settles in. There's so much, your reflexes aren't gonna be the same. And I just feel like, even though these boxers go through some really rigorous training all the time and they get hit all the time when nobody's watching, it's different when you do it on the big stage. And, that takes a toll on you that is hard to come back from. Yeah. It's rare you see a boxer get basically outclassed in the way that Errol Spence was outclassed and they come back better or as good as they were before that fight.
Right.
I think he probably has a little bit more quit in him than he did before he fought. Before he was in that car accident. I think that car accident took something out of him too. Yeah. But that's no excuse for what happened between him and Bud. And I think that Cheef Thurman's punching power would be a problem. For Errol Spence right now. Yeah. I think he needs somebody with like softer gloves, like lotioned hands or something like that. He needs a delicate touch. He can't be in there.
Hey man, you got shea butter on your gloves.
He can't be in there with one time.
Yeah, I think
but it would be a good fight.
I think it'd be a good fight. I think fans will want to see it because, to be honest, Cheef Thurman does have a bit of a following and a buzz from his social media accounts. Errol Spence has been relatively quiet. He's been relatively quiet.
So B-Hop said it best. I saw an interview with B-Hop recently, and they asked him about the damage that fights can do to you. And he said when you lose badly, it takes fights out of you. Like I think he basically said Bud probably took about 4 or 5 fights out of Errol Spence. That's why you don't see him fighting. You don't see him active. Right. He is trying to recover still. So that he can get back out there and fight again. My question for you, and then I think we should move on this.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna throw a combination of throw a couple of names out there, and I want you to give me sort of the combination that you think is the biggest matchup.
Okay.
So on one hand, you got Keith Thurman, you got Earl Spence,
okay,
and you got Boots Ennis.
Okay.
What's the combination that you would want to see?
So if I was Boots, I would want to fight Keith Thurman. Right?
Okay.
If I was Boots, I would want to fight Keith Thurman. The reason why I would want to fight Keith Thurman is because Keith Thurman has a little bit more, not only following at the moment, but I think people will expect Boots to beat up on Earl Spence because of the memory of what it looked like last. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
If Earl comes back and takes a tune-up fight, looks good, then maybe that's a conversation that we could start having, because he would be in that pathway for Boots to gain more credibility on the fighters that he's beaten, right?
Yeah.
But I think right now that might be something that Boots might want to start calling Keith out. Like, hey, you one time again, let's see it. You get what I'm saying? Now, I don't think Keith take that fight. I'm sorry.
I think it goes the other way around, to be honest. I don't think Boots chased Keith. I think Keith chased Boots. And here's why. And then let's move on. Like, Keith is a Tuesday night fighter now. God. He got to make it to Saturday so that he can fight Boots. He's a Tuesday night fighter.
I ain't mad at that. So look, right? Man, free agency, NFL free agency has been popping these last couple of days. A lot of moving pieces.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you: the Seattle Seahawks blew up their whole offense. Right? They ain't got nobody no more. It's a brand new offense. Sam Darnold is there. He got his bag. Hey, we understand that was about money. That wasn't about winning at this point. They done lost both of their receivers. DK gone, Tyler Lockett gone. Okay, so that was about Sam Darnold getting the bag. All right. With DK going to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have a quarterback, how long does it last before DK is causing chaos in Mike Tomlin's locker room?
Well, you already got a wide receiver in Pittsburgh causing chaos in Mike Tomlin's locker room.
Yep.
So I'm surprised that guy hasn't been moved yet, to be honest. He has the talent to go somewhere else, but, I think I'm trying to remember his name exactly.
George Pickens.
George Pickens. That's right.
Yeah.
George Pickens, great talent. He's a distraction. And I want to remind people that T and Chad Ochocinco were both still great. Even though they were on the backsides of their careers, they were both still great when their careers ended.
Correct.
Because they were too much of a distraction.
Correct.
And Pickens don't have the accomplishments that either one of them have.
Not nearly. Nowhere near. Right.
So I think he needs to calm down. And I think DK needs to know that too, and need to understand that. Like, you're going to Pittsburgh. You got a new beginning. That's what you've been looking for, right?
Right.
Great. Don't matter if they bring you Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, because that's who they're looking at. That's who's favored to be the starting quarterback there. Or if they bring you, I don't know, somebody. I'm trying to think of like somebody that's still available that's not a starting quarterback.
Daniel Jones.
It doesn't matter.
Available.
Who is?
Daniel Jones is still available.
No, he's not.
Did he
Daniel
go to
Jones He signed a deal with Indy. Yeah, he's going to Indy to compete with Richardson.
Anthony Richardson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and which is sad. But we'll get to that another time. But my point is, these wide receivers, they got to be careful. Like, Odell Beckham was a generational talent. Once he became a distraction, he had to be moved. And even though he won a Super Bowl and he's still active and he's still out there, I think he kind of messed up the career he could have had, because his ceiling was very high. Now, did he have a quarterback that could actually throw to him once Eli left? Probably not.
Right.
But he still should have stuck it out, or should have not been the story, so that he could have remained with the Giants. And I think the Giants would have made moves sooner to get him the quarterback he deserves because of his talent. So that's what we're doing now with Malik Nabers. The Giants are trying not to make that mistake with Malik Nabers.
This is what I think happens. I think DK going to the Steelers with Pickens, if he's still there at the beginning of the season, I think this is the beginning of the end for Mike Tomlin.
Why is that? You think he's being set up?
No, I don't think he's being set up. I think that what happens is DK got his bag, okay? He got his money. He got his money, right? The problem is we don't know who the quarterback is, right? And it's great when you got the money now in March, in April, in May. But when August, September, October come around and you on week 8 and you ain't got but 2 touchdowns and y'all ain't winning, all that money don't mean nothing. Now you frustrated because you're not getting the ball. Your offense ain't doing what it's supposed to do. Because Steelers' offense has been mediocre at best over the last
they still make the
three.
playoffs.
But they make the playoffs off of the legendary potential Hall of Fame linebacker in T.J. Watt. That defense has carried them.
He can't do it by himself. But
I
yeah,
agree.
the defense is solid. Tomlin is a great coach.
He is. He is. But how long are you going to deal with mediocrity in Pittsburgh?
That's fair.
That's the only thing that I'm speaking on. It's like, okay, cool. We know you're a great coach, right? We know you have a Super Bowl winning coach. Okay, they respect you, they admire you in Pittsburgh, and I believe they respect you and admire you in that locker room. But eventually, making the playoffs and exiting in the first round won't fly in Pittsburgh, but so many more times.
If you have the roster that says you should have did better, you should have done better, right? So I don't think they have a roster that says they underachieved.
Okay.
I think they have a roster that says, I'm surprised they made the playoffs.
Yes.
Which makes Tomlin look better.
Yes, it does.
Here's the thing. He's been able to win with Pickett, small hands, right? I'm just messing with him because of the story that they had when he came into the league about his hands not being that big for a quarterback. Whatever. He's still in the NFL. He's still an NFL level quarterback, but he's a backup now. Right. And they were able to win with him as their starter. In fact, their last couple of starters are now backups in other places and probably won't be permanent starters anytime soon. Mm-hmm. So I think that if they get an Aaron Rodgers, they can do great. I mean, Russell Wilson, of course, last year, Russell Wilson is different. He's not the guy he's not the backup that the other guys became.
Right.
And there's some quarterbacks out there that are still pretty good. I still think Jameis Winston is pretty good. He's just so good, he needs somebody to reel in his ego so he can stop throwing interceptions.
I agree. Now let me ask you this. This is, staying with the Steelers in general. Do you believe they made a mistake by not re-signing Justin Fields and allowing him to go to the Jets?
Yeah, I think that Justin Fields is one of the best, most highly valued quarterbacks that was available, or the most valuable quarterbacks that was available. Like, he didn't come with a huge price tag, anything like that. Right. He's still trying to prove himself. Yeah. But he's already shown that he can, at least for 6 games, he can do pretty well. I mean, and now you're giving him weapons. You give him another weapon like a DK Metcalf. They did get rid of Najee Harris though, so I don't know who's going to be running the ball for them. Right. And that's a big part of the Steelers' identity.
They had a two-headed monster. I can't think of the other running back name that went along with Najee Harris, but they did have another back that was a part of their running scheme. Now, Justin Fields is a very interesting story to me, right? Because I believe the Jets still have a legitimate defense, right? So it's not like he's going from a great defense to a bad defense. He's going from a great defense in Steelers to a very good defense in the Jets, right? Yeah. But he's got, to me, in my opinion, I think he's got a very, very capable wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. Now, he may not be the star power as DK right now, but I still think Garrett Wilson's a very good football player. But he does have a certified running back there, boy. That run game with his legs could cause some problems for players on Sunday, because Justin definitely can run it. It's still kind of in questions how good of a thrower he is. It's kind of similar, and I'm not saying they're same, but it's similar to Lamar Jackson, right? It's like, okay, we know Lamar can run, but can he actually beat you throwing the football? And I think that's where Justin Fields needs to kind of bend into, where, I can beat you with my legs, but if you keep playing around, I'll pick you apart with my arm too. And I think that's what you're kind of hoping his development comes into, where he can settle into that pocket, use his legs when needed, and just throw the ball around the yard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, Dag, man, it sucks because you write about the Jets running back, and I can't, for whatever reason.
Bruce Hall is his name.
Breece Hall.
Yeah, Breece Hall is his name.
Thank you. Breece, he gets injured too much.
He does.
So, as great of a running back as he could be, he really hasn't had that great of a showing because he's not on the field enough. Yeah. So you got to deal with that. Yeah. Then you got Garrett Wilson, who I do think is a very good receiver. Sometimes I think he's a little overrated, or maybe more highly rated because he's in New York. He's in a larger market. Yeah. But he is very good. I'm not going to take that away from him. He is very good, but he is not. Him by himself is not enough. No, they don't have a tight end that everybody fears. They don't have anybody else that you could pass the ball to regularly that anybody fears. Now they did have a couple of like OG vet wide receivers,
Yeah.
They're serviceable, but they're not the threats that these young fast wide receivers are.
Now check this out. I just thought about this because this is another free agent that just got released. With Cooper Kupp alongside Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields with Hall make a great combination because now you got Coop. You ain't got to put Coop on the outside. You can put him in the slot. You can put him right next to Garrett. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And look, you already know Cooper catching everything. Now he ain't gonna run by you, but boy, he gonna catch everything you throw at him. That might be a good option for the Jets to pick up to boost that offense.
If Reese is healthy, because otherwise you have people who can you have a bunch of guys who can effectively keep Cooper Kupp from going off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They could keep Cooper Kupp at bay. They could keep Garrett Wilson at bay because they're not worried about your run game. Right. They might be worried about Justin Fields though.
Listen,
they might be worried about him as a runner.
Yeah,
and so I'll say this: would I want to tune in and watch that? Yeah, I would. But I think Cooper Kupp is again backside of his career. I don't know how much he has left. He might have maybe he has one great season left. Right. Maybe he has 3 mid seasons left. I don't know.
Yeah.
But my hope is that he has enough to be a threat on whatever team picks is lucky enough to pick him up because he has been a great wide receiver for the NFL throughout his career. He was the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL for a number of years, even if he wasn't getting the credit.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm going to ask you a question. I want to know what your preference is. Where do you think Aaron Rodgers should go?
Yeah, so it's complex for me because, I'm a Giants fan.
Absolutely.
And the Giants need a quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. And I saw that the Giants did have a conversation with Aaron Rodgers. And to me, my belief is that Aaron Rodgers had a decent year last year, even though the Jets didn't do much. His numbers were pretty good. He had almost 4,000 yards passing. He had something like 28 touchdowns, something like 11 interceptions.
Right.
Decent quarterback rating and all of that stuff, but nobody cared because of all of the distraction, because of his ego, because of the stories around him, because his team losing. That's really what ultimately did it. His team was just losing. And because the Jets fired a decent coach for what looked like Aaron Rodgers, as the cause. I think it was more so that when you have Aaron Rodgers, you're supposed to win, going back to what I just said about Pittsburgh.
Right.
And they didn't. So that makes the coach look really bad.
Yeah.
For us, we have a coach that's in a position where he has to do something different this year or else he's going to be gone anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he can take that shot.
Right.
Then on top of that, I think we have a better wide receiver than Garrett Wilson and Malik Neighbors. Then on top of that, with how well Aaron Rodgers has been able to throw the ball, how accurate, how his timing, things like that, I think he can unlock Wan'Dale Robinson.
Okay.
And make Wan'Dale Robinson look more like some of the best slot receivers that we know of. I'm trying to think of the guys that played for New England when Tom Brady was there.
Wes
Welker
and Julian Edelman.
Thank you. And Edelman. He can make Wan'Dale Robinson look like them, which would be awesome.
Okay.
Now the question is, would he be a distraction and would he be expensive? That's the problem. If he's going to be expensive, let him go to Pittsburgh.
So I'm going to say this. He's definitely going to be a distraction. We could talk everywhere he goes, he's a distraction right now. At this part of his career, he's been a distraction. All right. Now, whether he's going to be expensive or not is up for debate. But I'm gonna pose this question to you because you would know your team better than most, right? Would he be in a bad situation because of the Giants' offensive line?
No.
Okay.
No, because the Giants' offensive line historically, was bad. Had Daniel Jones running for his life when he first got there, right? Mm-hmm. They were bad. It's been like 4 years since that time, 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. And every year the Giants have made changes and made moves to strengthen their offensive line. We have one of the best left tackles in the league if he stays healthy.
Right.
Right. He's our Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Right. And we got a bunch of we had some vets around him. Ben Bredeson just got a new deal with the Bucs. He was on that Giants offensive line. Right. He's good enough to re-up with the Bucs. He was good enough when he was with the Giants. Oh. We have a decent line if you have a quarterback that knows the routes, knows where the receivers should be, has the arm to get them the ball, has the timing to get them the ball, has the accuracy to put it where it needs to be. I think Daniel Jones was traumatized his first year and just really rarely was able to come out of that and have a game where he could completely focus on just being the best quarterback he could be on the field. I think he spent too much time developing habits of running for his life because he held the ball too long at times. He made bad reads. He eyeballed his receivers and threw it straight to the defenders who was watching him stare down his receivers. So, he's made those kind of mistakes. Aaron Rodgers isn't that quarterback. So I don't think he would be hurt by the offensive line.
All right. Well, I love it.
But I tell you, I'm gonna say something that's kind of controversial, but then you got to go, not you, but people got to check this out for themselves. The top 2 quarterbacks in this year's draft, Shador and Cam, are both black quarterbacks.
They are.
Giants aren't known for drafting black quarterbacks. I would love to have Cam Ward, but I feel like when the Giants have a chance to pick, if Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter are available, that's where they're gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call them what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I'm just going historically. They have not drafted a quarterback, especially a black quarterback, to bring them in and start for the Giants. Yeah. We had Tyrod Taylor as a backup, or as Bomani Jones would call him, a blackup.
Yeah.
And Tyrod Taylor did good for for the time that he was with the Giants. He did well. Yeah. But he was never good enough to become the permanent starter. Geno Smith was almost our permanent starter. Yeah. He replaced Eli Manning in the starting lineup because Eli wanted him to. Eli didn't want to play half the game or something crazy like they wanted him to. So Geno played but didn't do so great. He ended up going to Seattle. Aaron Rodgers is a big enough name that Giants fans who know this team suck will have a reason to tune in. Right. And that's what Mara needs. The owner of the Giants. He needs a reason for season ticket holders to keep their season tickets, to renew their season tickets, show up at the games. We want to see, can Aaron Rodgers bring us to some form of greatness or goodness? Or is he going to be so much of a show by himself that he brings this team down, costs Dave's his job, costs Sheen his job, and the Giants just kind of go up in flames this season? Even that is entertainment. Yeah. Right? It is. And that's why we tune in. Right. It would suck for the fans because we want a team that can win and entertain. But that's just part of it. The ups and the downs. When you really up, people want to tune in and watch you. When you really down, as long as it's temporary, people will tune in and watch you. So yeah.
All right, so look, we're gonna pivot.
Yeah.
To another New York team, different sport, but they in my opinion are gonna go through a little rocky road here the next week or two. What do you feel is going to be the New York Knickerbockers' biggest struggle with their superstar Jalen Brunson being down with that major ankle injury? And if you could have it whether you guys fall to whatever position, who you want to play in the first round, knowing that he would probably be getting back into shape right around the first round of the playoffs. Who's that team that you say, you know what? We could get this team, and this would be a good series for us to get our legs underneath us as we try to make a run to the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? How you feel about Jalen Brunson's injury, and how is it going to affect the Knicks when it comes to their playoff seeding?
Honestly, I just want Jalen to get completely healthy, right? And so what I mean by that is I know they want him back right now. Yeah. And so they're saying 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that, he should be back. That's great. That's really positive. I think we can weather the storm and be above 500 in the games that we play over the next 3 weeks, 2 more weeks or whatever without Jalen. I think we'll be fine. The challenge though is that him coming back completely healthy and ready to go for the playoffs, or is that him rushing back so that he can be out on the court for the playoffs but not completely healthy? Right. So I would say I wouldn't get so caught up in bringing Jalen back this season, if that's not the best thing for his long-term health. Right. Because if you let him sit out, as long as he needs to in order to be completely healthy, whether that means he misses the first round of the playoffs, then let him do that and be ready next year. Okay. That's how I look at it. But we're gonna rush him back. We're gonna rush him back. Which matchups do I want? I'll tell you the matchups I don't want. I don't want the Celtics and I don't want the Cavs. Okay. Right. I don't want either one of them. They've kicked our butts. They probably by the time the playoffs start, they will each have won 4 games against us. Okay. I believe. But I don't think it's easy to beat a team 8 times. Right. And so it seems like we should want that smoke. We should want to play them, but they're good enough. I don't want to play them.
So it sounds like you would prefer to stay running to that 4 or 5 slot where you would avoid those 2 in the first round, at least.
I think if we stay in the third spot, we avoid those two.
That's true. That's true. You would, but you'll run into them in the second round, correct? One of them you'll run into them in the second round. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not afraid of them, but I'm being realistic. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Both of those teams are really good. The Celtics, they are outstanding 3-point shooters, and they mix it up enough where you start to forget about how good about outside shooters they are, and then they go back outside. They go on these runs.
Yeah, I think, man, when it comes to the Boston Celtics in general, in the playoffs is when they're going to neutralize Cleveland's smaller guards, right? Not saying Garland and Donovan, they're not great players. They are, right? The problem is, as great as they are, when you put Drew, White, Brown, Tatum, long arms, athletic, they move their feet very well, and the game slows down and becomes more physical in the playoffs, that's when size matters. So I think it's a bad matchup for Cleveland. They need somebody to knock Boston out. They want the Bucks. They want the Knicks. They do not want Boston because that's just a bad matchup in the playoffs, in my opinion. Even how great Cleveland has been all year.
I don't agree, man. I think that Cleveland is the team that's built to beat Boston and best team to beat them. And here's why. First of all, they're not going to see each other in the first round.
No, they won't see each
other.
They're
probably not going to see each other in the second round. They would have to be in the conference finals if they do run into each other. The way that they're playing now.
Right.
But you've heard me say this plenty of times. The backcourt of Drew Holiday and Derek White is insanely good on defense. Arguably an all-time great defensive backcourt there, right?
I agree.
But they're going up against arguably, and it remains to be seen, an all-time great offensive backcourt in Cleveland. Right. You already know what Donovan Mitchell can do.
Yeah, he about that.
You don't have to do anything else. You already know who he is. Yeah, when you say they're too small, yeah, he's 6'2".
Yeah.
But he's bigger than both of the guards that they would probably put Jaylen Brown on him because he is as wide as Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, he's a big body.
He's big. He's quick too. He's cat quick, so he can take him off the dribble. But if Jaylen is able to stay with him and body up on him, Donovan can create the space he needs. There's no problem. He would have no problem not knocking Jaylen off balance and getting his shot off. No problems with that. He's just that big. And then you talk about best handles in the league. You think about names like Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry. Number 2 and 3 are on Cleveland and the Celtics. Number 3, Darius Garland. Sorry, I meant number 3 and 4. Darius Garland. Number 4, Peyton Pritchard. When you talk about best handles in the league, and Pritchard is on the bench. So, yes, he plays good minutes, especially when he's on. Yeah. But Darius Garland starts. Yeah. He plays a lot of minutes, and he gets busy. Yeah. And he's decent on defense. He's just not a physical defender. He is a smart defender. He is I'm in the lane, that type of defender. He's more Mike Conley Jr. like. Right. How he plays defense. Yeah, passing lane, smart, witty about it. Yeah. Yeah, and then the main reason why I have the Cavs as the best threat to beat the Celtics is because as soon as you think the Celtics are just 3-point shooters like I just described, they go inside. They go inside and they're dominant between Tatum, Jaylen Brown getting to the cup, Porzingis down there when he wants to, he goes in the low post and feasts, and Al Horford crashing the boards, getting putbacks. And that new guy they got, I think his last name is Quinta. Okay. He's great. I didn't see him coming. Now that guy is also a weapon on this team. Yeah. But you got Jared Allen, you got Evan Mobley, and they've been different. Yeah. This is not Evan Mobley from last year or the years before. He has the same skills, but this is Evan Mobley playing with heart. Yeah. Playing like he got a team behind him that's going to have his back no matter what. Yeah. And that's an all-star level player. And I'm interested to see it. I'm excited for the Cavs. I'm excited for the city of Cleveland, because there's been, when you lose LeBron James, who we're about to talk about here in a second, it kind of takes you a minute to find another star power player and potentially have a team that you can root for on that level. And boy, do they have it right now in the Cavs squad this year. So I'm excited for Cleveland. I think it's great. Speaking of LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers, okay, with that groin injury, possibly sidelining them a week, maybe 2 weeks, I believe that it puts them in a position to run into OKC or Denver in the second round. I think Luka's good enough, even if LeBron isn't playing in the first round, to get them out of the first round, right? I think Luka's good enough to get the Lakers out of the first round if LeBron isn't healthy.
But if he's coming back to the second round, I think you can't go no further without a healthy LeBron James. Okay, I think Denver's too good. Of course, I know I got OKC winning the chip this year, so they're definitely too good. And then there's to me, because OKC, Cleveland, Boston, and LA have been taking a lot of the spotlight and the conversations, I think this team in Memphis is really flying under the radar when it comes to attention, national attention. But that's a team from just off of the history. They're gritty.
Yeah.
They beat you up, and boy, they got a superstar that at any given moment he gonna put you on a poster and it's gonna be a highlight reel. But they play hard. So I think Memphis is a team that can give just about any of the teams that I named in the West problems in a 7-game series. And if you don't take them seriously, they'll upset you. So how do you feel the injury is going to affect the Lakers? LeBron's injury is going to affect the Lakers towards their playoff seeding. And what do you think he's going to look like when he comes back?
Let me see. I think, one, he is going to be affected by that injury for longer than 2 weeks, right? Yeah. It's, you talk about soft tissue issue with those groin strains and things like that. They take time to heal. They can nag and cause you discomfort for a while. Now, the level of painkillers and things like that NBA players have access to is broad. And, it can help him get through it. Yeah. But the way LeBron takes care of himself, I don't know if that's his jam. He probably has other ways of kind of dealing with it or just dealing with it, right? Just going out there and playing in pain. So I think he's going to have some discomfort there. It's going to affect his athleticism as far as like his bounce when he gets when he gets to the paint. What it's not going to affect though is his outside shooting. I think his outside shooting is going to be fine. I think his ability to leak out and get easy buckets because Luka is able to find him down the court, no problems. He'll be fine. He's still going to be able to get up there. And he's 6'8", so dunking is not a problem for him. It just may not be as explosive as the dunks that we've seen so far this season, especially since he's been playing with Luka. So I think they're going to weather this little storm right here that they're in because Luka has guys that weren't playing as great before playing really well now. And what you need, in my opinion, going into the playoffs, in order to really be competitive, yes, you do need LeBron James in order to give yourself a chance to win it. Right. But just to be competitive, Luka playing the way he's playing, where there are no arguments about who should have the ball.
Correct.
When he's playing with Kyrie, you could argue a little bit like, man, if they lose, you're like, why you didn't get a ball to Kyrie? Yeah. Well, when LeBron's not on the court, if this Lakers team lose, what do you say? Yeah. You say, oh, can't wait till they get LeBron back.
Yeah.
You don't say Luka should have gave the ball to anybody else. No.
Correct.
Luka's the guy. So you got Luka playing well. You got Rui Hachimura, who was a steal by the Lakers in the first place 3 years ago when he went to the Lakers. They shouldn't have been able to get him, but they got him. And Luka, he's a great defender, and Luka's going to unlock him. You got Dorian Finney-Smith, outside sniper. Luka has played with him before. He's still sniping. And he plays lockdown defense. You got Jackson Hayes, who I've known for years how good Jackson Hayes could be. Right. Now you're seeing this guy play really confident and dominant in the paint. He's grabbing every board, he's blocking every shot, and he's getting those alley-oop opportunities to really show off his athleticism because you got Luka. So now they just got to get Gabe Vincent putting a little bit more on the boards with his outside shooting. I think they'll be fine, man. I think the Lakers will be fine. The one thing that's going to be interesting to watch towards the end of the season is how close they are with Golden State in terms of the seeding. Because if they drop to let's say 4th place and Golden State moves up to 5th and they play each other in the first round.
Look out. See, Luka brings a different kind of confidence to the role players. I think that's what you're seeing Luka bring to the Lakers. Is like, man, there's a different kind of belief. Don't get me wrong. They know they can compete and play well with LeBron James. It's not a disrespect to LeBron James at all. It's, we got Luka, right? And we know that his talent and his skill set, he is going to command a different kind of defensive coverage, which is going to open up major opportunities for us offensively, like a Jackson Hayes, like a Austin Reeves, like a Finney Smith. You get what I'm saying? The only team, and he cooks them too, but boy, they make him work for it, is the Boston Celtics. Their defensive front make Luka exhausted. They just wear him down.
It's Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown locks in. When it comes to Luka, Jaylen Brown takes that personal.
He take it very personal, right? So I don't know if there's anybody that can actually do that in the West to really like kind of like slow him down. So I think he just brings a different kind of confidence out of his teammates, which is, they believe they can win every game because we got Luka. You know what I'm saying? I like what you said. Yo, that would be an epic first round. What? Golden State with Jimmy and LeBron?
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? Don't let Steph and Jimmy beat LeBron. It's the Steph era. We just got to erase that it was LeBron. Hey, it's Steph. You know what I'm saying?
You would love to say that, but listen, that's not what it would mean.
It's already bad that, our brother from another mother blasphemed last week saying that Steph was the greatest point guard of all time. It's still blasphemy.
What do you mean? He's in the conversation. He's in the conversation.
He in the conversation, but he ain't it. You heard what I said, Raheem. Don't start doing that.
You gotta go look at our old episodes. I said it too. He's in the conversation. Like, why not?
You about to have me make the Steph face.
Right. Exactly. You just proved my point.
You know what I'm saying?
Show me the magic face. You don't have a magic face.
I ain't got no magic. See? It is. Look, this is magic face.
Nah.
He was just
that's the Bill Cosby face. That's the Bill Cosby face.
You know what I'm saying? But look, we gonna wrap this show up. Listen, I want to see that matchup. I want to see Golden State and LA. We ain't need to talk about nothing else. I'm about to go and cut the TV on to watch what's happening right now. Man, bump all that. So look, Russell Wilson needs to retire.
Facts. I think he got another year or so in him. But yeah, go ahead, keep going. What else you got?
Russ needs to retire.
Yeah.
I want to see Aaron Rodgers go to the Giants just because it's gonna be drama. That's it. It's just drama filled. Okay, we know DK Metcalf's gonna crash out midseason because he only gonna have like 2 touchdowns.
Well, I mean, he's not as Anyway, he is a specimen of an athlete, but I mean, come on. He has his moments. He does some really great things. But he's not a top 3 receiver in the NFL. He's not, he's not that guy.
Here's my wild take. We're gonna wrap this. This is my wild take. I'm really gonna piss somebody off when I say this. The Jets will have a better record than the Dolphins next year.
I'm gonna wait for the hate mail to come in.
Better record than the Dolphins next year. You heard it first. Nobody beats Kansas City. Nobody beats Baltimore in the regular season.
Except in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's it. God, I tell you. But look, we here. We back another episode. Thank y'all for joining us. Stay winning in the building. And most importantly,